Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Journey into Comics with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
I am a god, you dull creature.
Just sitting back here eating a tasty cheeseburger, listening to Journey into Comics, what?
We're back, folks. Part 2 of this epic two-parter. And officially, episode 13. Cue
Episode 13. I love this movie.
I'm trying to cue some creepy music. Maybe this.
If I can hear the music, maybe it would be creepy, but it's not.
Okay, it's done now. Oh, God. Don't get him started.
Finish him.
Anyway, yeah, guys, welcome to episode 13. Our good friend West is back from last episode.
I am
Wes.
indeed. It's actually, there's no T, believe it or not.
You're West?
No, there's no T.
Oh, you're just West.
Oh, we established last episode you can't hear.
Ticles. There
Yes,
is a T.
Westicles. In Westicles.
There is a
Yes,
T in
yes.
Westicles.
Anyway, I'm back.
Any quay?
Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, we're back, folks, and we got things and stuff to talk about as we always do. Getting right into it. Hey, do you guys know a stormtrooper got arrested in Gotham?
I heard about that.
Yeah,
I did
so
hear something like
J.J.
that.
Abrams and Zack Snyder have kind of been punking each other a little bit, or showing their undesirable love for each other, I guess you'd call it.
Something. I don't know. I think they're courting.
But apparently in one of the clips, teaser, something or other, maybe it was the picture, I can't remember.
It was like
doesn't
set
work.
photos, I think.
Set photos under the Millennium Falcon was the Tumblr from Batman,
Yeah.
which was a little callback to his J.J. Abrams' love of Batman. And then Zack Snyder, people, we can talk about this. This is a very cool thing to start with. They had somebody who has Instagram went to the set and saw the Batmobile and leaked the photo of the Batmobile. Not really leaked, I guess. They didn't tell her not to take the photo. She just took a photo, didn't know any better. And then so they release an official thing. Then a couple days later, rumor gets started that the Batmobile was stolen from the set of Batman vs. Superman, which was false. And Zack Snyder, being very trolly like he is, said, well, they caught the guy that stole it, and then they put another set picture up, which was the Gotham City Police putting a stormtrooper into a cop car. How awesome.
Good cross promotion.
No, absolutely. Strangely enough, they're not competing now. They
No,
were going to be
not at all.
competing the same year.
Yeah.
Not really competing because their numbers wouldn't have really reflected each other. Speaking of numbers, I got to bring this up. So Turtles did, I think it was like 62 million opening weekend.
Something.
Was considered a great success. I don't know if you know that,
It
but
was
people
considered a
considered
success.
it a success for $60-some million. Amazing Spider-Man 2 did $92 million and was considered a flop.
I know.
Make sense of that for me.
Wait, hold on.
Definitely.
Hold on. You said 92?
92 million. Amazing Spider-Man 2 did 92 million opening weekend.
And I can guarantee Michael Bay's budget was higher.
Oh
And wasn't like Captain America? Didn't that do like 95?
Yeah, Cap did 94. It was 94. I think. Let me see.
How the hell is Amazing?
Yeah,
How
I
the hell
know.
is Amazing Spider-Man 2 considered a flop?
Oh,
Then?
it's a
I mean,
flop.
I understand budget is one thing, but come on.
Well, because it was supposed to be the movie that broke $100 million in its opening weekend, allegedly. Like, no, it did 92 million. Those are great numbers.
They are.
So, what was Captain America's numbers?
Yeah.
For the Winter Soldier.
It's a good movie.
Speaking of Winter Soldier, we're kind of in tangent mode on the second half of this episode. Did you know that there is a rumor, and I haven't investigated yet, and I'm going to investigate really deeply, but Marvel got the rights to Punisher back. I don't know if you guys knew
I
this.
was actually going to be bringing this
You were
up.
going to be bringing this up?
Yeah.
Okay. Brando, so I don't know if Brando knows this or not, but there is a rumor online right now that the Punisher is in Captain America Winter Soldier.
You don't
I've
see
heard
him,
that.
but
And the reason that they're setting it up that way is so that the third Captain America movie can be Captain America Civil War.
I don't think it will be Civil War. I
No.
think it's too soon for that.
Much too
I
soon.
do believe Civil War is coming. But the Punisher setup is brilliant if, in fact, that's what it is. And given what the director actually said about it. So basically, to run it down, there's a scene in... Brandon, have you seen this?
No, I haven't, but don't worry about spoiling it.
Okay. Basically, there's a scene midway through the movie, I'd say, when Nick Fury's being pursued, and there's a point where he's being pursued by the cops. A large truck. What's the brand on it? What was it?
Penske. It's a Penske.
Penske
It's a
truck.
yellow Penske truck.
A very large Penske truck cuts the cops off and basically gets them off his tail. Not intentionally. That's the idea, that it doesn't look intentional or anything like that. It just looks like, oh, they went into traffic. And here comes this Penske truck. Well, later in the movie, there's a part where a guy gets thrown into traffic. And, well, sure enough, here comes another, quote-unquote, another bright yellow Penske truck. Pow! Right into him. And, coincidence?
I think not.
Yeah, and what the director actually said about it was that he confirmed it was the exact same Penske truck. He said, the driver of this truck is a man with very specific skills. He has a certain set of skills. These were like almost verbatim the words that he used when describing this. That he had a very certain set of skills that he puts to use. And that the idea that they might be they were the same truck and they are involved in two moments of assistance.
I know exactly who it is. If he's got a certain set of skills, he will find you and he will kill you.
Yes, it's Liam Neeson.
Yes, that's it. Riddle
He
solved.
he actually is playing the Punisher. Didn't you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know this. On Metacritic, the Turtles movie got a 31 out of 100.
Yes, I did know that.
Wow.
That sounds appropriate, even though I haven't seen it.
Brando was right. Box office numbers-wise, you were hit the nail on the head with Captain America. It did hit 95 mil opening weekend.
And it's considered a success, that's for sure.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weekend was 65 mil, but they only held their title for one weekend, and then Guardians took it back.
Yep, Guardians just destroyed it.
And then I'm going to look up now and see what Spidey did, but I do believe Spidey was...
It's considered a flop.
I do believe Spidey was 92 or 91 mil. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And for the record, I'm a big fan of that movie.
Oh, me
I thought
too.
it was fantastic.
Absolutely.
A little rushed at parts, but that was literally the only complaint I had for the whole movie.
It grossed 91.6, so almost 92 mil.
How could that ever be a flop?
And is considered a flop. Now, what does Metacritic say about this? Metacritic says this is a 53 of 100.
Almost double.
So almost double Turtles, and it's still considered a flop. I don't get it. I
Me
don't
neither.
get these numbers. It doesn't
Me
make
neither.
sense.
It could be reflective on the studio. Because Sony owns.
True.
So-
Andrew Garfield came out this week and said the reason that Amazing Spider-Man 2 hurt as bad as it did and hurt the franchise was because they cut a lot of people in the studio that were a part of the first one.
Yeah.
They cut them and
They
got
had to
rid of their
make too
jobs.
many edits in the studio for the movie. I mean,
So, these numbers, and then my favorite number to look at, obviously, is going to be this one. If I can pull it up, Brando, I don't know.
if at all.
Being dumb. Let's see.
Not even your equipment wants to work.
I'm telling you, it's just an off day.
Apparently.
Dude, you can't read, you can't see, you can't talk, and none of your equipment want like, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Opening weekend, this is interesting. Guardians opening weekend grossed less than Captain America at 94.3 million. However, it has taken over, and today's numbers for this, I know we talked about this last time, but this is as of Friday. Guardians was at 316.4 million in North America, 318.6 in other countries, for a worldwide total of 635 million. and they are the 14th movie of 2014 to gross over $300 million, and it only took 10 days to do so.
Top grossing movie of the year.
It's got a 92 approval rate. Where is the Metacritic? I can't see it. Metacritic. It got a 76 out of 100.
Pretty solid.
Very, very solid. So, yeah, those are the comic movies. Now, my thing is, I want Wes's opinion. Wes is a good, doesn't necessarily see our views the same, Brando. How do you think Batman vs. Superman's going to do? Because I think it's going to be way too crowded.
That is something I have a very positive stance on it. See, my one complaint, though, about so this is kind of a counter statement to what I'm about to say. Okay. The one complaint I have toward Man of Steel is that it felt too rushed. The movie itself, it progressed too quickly. There wasn't enough build to some of the stuff that happened. Although I found it to be a very satisfying movie. I actually really enjoyed Man of Steel. It felt kind of crammed together. But in general, what I was going to say with Batman v Superman is that I'm actually thinking it's probably not going to be too rushed. I'm hopeful in any case, is what I should say. But there's a lot going into it. But what I think they're going to be trying to do is using a lot of these characters, in almost the same way kind of Gotham did it, where they used a lot of characters but in passive roles. So that they're introduced but not utilized.
Okay, so now I got a question for both of you.
I know the trio are going to be big time in the movie, but other than that,
Batman, Superman,
Wonder Woman. I know they're going to be playing parts, but the part of, say, Cyborg, hopefully minimized.
Yeah,
they need to make way for the big players so they can utilize them in bigger movies alongside the ones they introduce.
Here's the thing I think that is very interesting. It seems like Marvel has hammered down how to make a successful movie.
They have.
Marvel has the formula. They know who to go to. They know with a certain style who they want to utilize for their films.
Yes.
But DC doesn't have that same pizzazz. They don't have the same swagger to do it. They might have successful DC movies, but they are not Marvel successful. They're not.
No, they're not.
13 in a row.
They are
at
not.
number one successful.
Marvel has pulled off something that most people thought impossible.
But DC is kicking total ass in the television aspect.
They are.
And Marvel is kind of flopping in the television world.
That is not true, actually. At first, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was slightly floppy. I mean, it was unfocused.
It lost me after 3 episodes.
Watch to the second half.
Okay.
After the reveal that happens in Captain, everything gets way more intense.
Okay.
Way better. Okay. High quality show now.
Okay.
That's my thought on it. And then the first episode premiered this week also on Monday.
Okay.
On Crowded Monday TV. And it was phenomenal. They actually introduced a big league villain onto the show.
Can I know?
Well, yeah. It's not something that you're going to immediately go like, oh, him? But the Absorbing Man.
Oh, Absorbing Man.
Yeah, he's part of the Wrecking Crew. Loki gave him his powers. This is a guy who has beaten Odin to death and beaten Hulk in a fist fight. This is no small power player.
That's pretty awesome.
So, I mean, he's on the show, and he was actually a very good presence. Gave a lot of good stuff to the show being on it.
Nice.
You know who has to be in the show?
Who?
The Asbestos Lady.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Squirrel Girl.
See, everybody goes to Squirrel Girl. I like her. She's awesome.
No, I'm not complaining. Well, she beat Thanos.
Yeah.
She's got that on her belt.
But Mockingbird is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes,
now.
she's going
right?
to be.
Or she's going to be. She hasn't been revealed yet.
No, not in the first episode.
Okay, so I don't know, though. I think
Marvel clearly is not winning the TV department.
they're lagging. I'll say that.
But they have such great plans, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has become a phenomenal show finally. But their plans for Netflix, those are incredible.
That's all you had to say, Netflix. I'm excited for Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Alone.
Yeah.
Daredevil.
The Defenders.
The Defenders. There's so much that I can't wait for in that department.
Iron Fist has got his own show coming. Oh, man.
So much is on the way in that way. That's crazy good.
No. To me, though, like I said, DC right now,
They're clear winners.
Their movies are lacking.
Sorry. Yes.
But their television is winning.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's television is considerably losing, considering they've
No,
only
there's
got
no question.
they've got one television show.
I consider their one television show to now be a success, whereas DC now has at least 3 that are full successes. Or at
3,
least so far.
2, but
so far.
you know the Flash is going to be the 3rd.
Yeah, that's kind of a guaranteed one. And then Constantine also is
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, but
and
I don't consider John Constantine. I mean, I know he is a DC character, but I
Is-
do not consider him a DC superhero.
I'm going to. That's probably an argument for another time, but I disagree entirely with
Okay,
you.
fair
he
enough.
is such a power player in the DC universe.
Okay.
It's just for the underground dark.
I know he's a part of
supernatural
Justice
side.
League Dark and all that. I
Yeah.
get that. I just don't think that you can say Batman and Constantine in the same sentence
They-
and have the same bravado.
Popularity is not. Yeah, I understand that part.
Do I appreciate Constantine? Absolutely. But does a show about Constantine excite me as much as Gotham? No.
I understand that point. I am excited just because I'm a huge fan of the dark supernatural side of DC. I want Swamp Thing, Deadman,
Oh,
Etrigan.
Swamp Thing gets its own TV show. It's over
If
because
Swamp
that's
Thing
awesome.
does not get at least a role on Constantine at some point, I will be severely disappointed. He has almost 100% to do with Constantine's origin in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Well, I should say the other way around, but they are heavily involved is really the point.
Damn it. There was an announcement made this week. Aha! That's what it was. They have a director, I think, for the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, yes, they did announce that,
And-
which was funny to announce the director as the announcement for the movie.
Yeah, like, hey, by the way, we're doing this movie. Speaking of movies that are DC-esque related, tell me you've seen the trailer for Birdman.
I have. I wouldn't call that DC related per se.
Well, I mean, Michael
But,
Keaton did play Batman,
yes.
and it's kind of a play on that. Brandon,
It
have
looks
you
like
seen
it's
the
gonna be-
trailer?
Yes, I did.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fantastic send up of the dark superhero genre.
Where is it? Why can't I find things when I want to, and then when I don't want to find things, they're everywhere? God.
You're just having no luck.
No, today has been a luckless day, if I could say that. Of course, it's going to be on the second page. Does
Always.
Christopher Nolan's Interstellar look good?
Yes,
I
to me.
like. Okay, I am a huge Matthew McConaughey fan, and I know that
I like
sounds weird.
Not really.
To me, the role that really sold him to me, 2 roles really. His role in Tropic Thunder
I
as
just love
the
The
agent, and then his role in Killer Joe.
that. I haven't seen that.
Tonight, go home, torrent Killer Joe, and it will change your. The movie
Okay.
is so jacked. It's about this cop in this small town, and he's Joe, and he's just this nice guy, but he is nuts, and he is crazy, and there's just, wow, I can't even.
I enjoy McConaughey, always kind of have, and it's very obvious he's got more depth than he's ever really let on. So
Yeah, no, he's a deep dude.
I'm a huge Nolan fan, so I am
I'm a
looking forward to it.
die-hard Nolan fan at this point.
Well, then I'll let you guys tell me whether or not it's good. Okay, the end of Watch director is the
Okay,
guy doing
yes.
it. David Ayer is doing Suicide Squad
Yeah.
movie.
Which he's got the chops.
Oh yeah, it'll be interesting to see Black Manta and
We can hope for all of them.
yeah, it'd be
I'm
cool.
pulling for it. I'd love to see Manta along with Harley Quinn and Deathstroke and my lisp just randomly showing up in that word.
You know what we
which I don't
completely
have.
missed? We missed the big announcement.
Oh man,
You can see it.
Oh, so
Brando.
thrilled.
What movie comes out in 2016 that's already crowded? But what movie just got announced coming out in 2016 that's super exciting?
There's quite a few of them, aren't there?
No, but there's one
Yes, but
specifically
there's
that just
one
got
specifically
announced.
Got announced the last week and a half that has me more jacked than I've been in a long time for a movie.
Maybe I missed it. I've been at work.
I would say probably not. February 2016. It's gonna be
Okay, here I'll read
a
the exact
lovely
article.
Valentine's Day.
I'll read the article.
Okay, yeah, because I'm missing it. I'm not making a connection with February.
Just a few hours after star Ryan Reynolds opened up about the reaction to the Deadpool leaked footage.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yep.
20th Century Fox has announced they are moving forward with the film, have given it a February 12th, 2016 release, just 3 months before X-Men Apocalypse. Ryan Reynolds is expected to star with director Tim Miller, and the script is going to be written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick of Zombieland fame.
And they have
Good
confirmed the
choices.
film is going to be PG, not rated R.
They have not
PG-13.
actually confirmed. Truth be told, actually, I read a quote that came out only yesterday saying that they basically, I think it was either the writers or the director, was saying that they have not set a rating in stone. There is still almost 2 years, well, I wouldn't say almost 2 years, about a year and a half before the film even comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
They said that they have not set one in stone, and that most people favor an R rating for it. It might be that they are willing to go there.
See, and this was where this article is actually where I learned that there's an Assassin's Creed movie coming out.
Oh yeah,
You didn't know that.
No, not at all.
Oh,
And it's
Fassbender.
Magneto.
It's got
yeah.
Fassbender.
Fassbender.
Yes.
Um,
Desmond.
But they Fox has shuffled a few more release dates, moving the Michael Fassbender starring Assassin's Creed off of its August 7th release, and it is now without a release date. So they've essentially said we don't know when Assassin's Creed's coming out because they're trying to play that game. Fantastic Four was then pushed to the August 7th date off of its June 19th date. So a lot of shakeup at Fox. They are really trying to maybe get fans back into wanting to enjoy their movies.
We can hope.
I liked Days of Future Past. I really did.
I thought it was great.
I'm excited for the extended cut where Rogue kind of plays a bigger part. So I'll wait.
That will be very good to see.
I'll wait
I
till
imagine.
next year. I don't
They're
care.
calling that the Rogue Edition.
Yep.
I'm into it. Trying to see other things, other good things. I don't know. There's a lot of comic news, man. There's so
There's been
much.
quite a bit.
Age of Ultron got picked up by TNT.
TNT.
I know you guys probably don't understand the meaning behind that,
Not
but
yet, no.
TNT has bought the rights to be the first television company to air
Really?
in syndication Age of Ultron 2 years
Wow.
after it comes out.
They had that money?
Yeah. Which
Must
is
be
pretty
that Sean
ballsy.
Bean stardom.
Yeah.
Well, I think Netflix did the same thing for Gotham.
Yes, they did. They picked
They're
it
gonna
up
get it
quick.
They're going to get exclusive stream rights.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they picked up Gotham for exclusive streaming rights before the first episode even aired.
Okay, let's talk about something. It's kind of comic related, but it's kind of not. What do you guys think of all these chicks with their pictures getting leaked on the internet?
Oh, the fappening, as they're calling it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean-
Favorable?
Favorable. Favorable's a good word. No,
I mean, it sucks that their privacy got invaded, but
however,
it's not their fault.
correct. However, here's my thing. If I'm one of those chicks and something like that happens to me, i.e., if I'm Jennifer Lawrence, you know what my response is going to be?
Fuck it.
No.
That would be,
I'd go to Playboy and I'd say, let's do a spread.
Yeah.
You guys want, I mean,
take advantage of
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I mean,
it's always a
cash in,
possibility.
right? Make some dollars doing stuff. I don't know. Okay, here's a good question. What are your thoughts on Agent Carter?
Very, very favorable, especially after the Shield premiere this season, because
Tie-in.
the first, I believe, 5 to 10 minutes of the episode are actually Peggy Carter and the Howling Commandos storming a Hydra base.
Oh,
It's very cool.
sweet.
So that alone, I was already intrigued with the Marvel short that came out with Peggy Carter in it. I liked it. And I was a big fan of the Howling Commandos from the Captain movie. They were done well. And I'm excited that they get expanded upon. But in any case, air it between S.H.I.E.L.D. Part 1 and S.H.I.E.L.D. Part 2 this season makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Great marketing sense.
Yeah.
And after that clip, I was sold.
Okay. So, more Marvel news. I heard a rumor this week, and I don't know how true it is. I don't have any official anything. There was like 2 sites that reported on it. But allegedly, during filming for Amazing Spider-Man 2, Jim Carrey was on set.
I had not heard
And
that.
he was on set for Ravencroft.
Really?
Now, why would he be in Ravencroft filming?
Huh. That's
He's
intriguing.
witty. He's psychotic. He plays a weird villain. He's thin. I'll give you one word. Carnage.
I don't.
He's going to be Carnage. I feel it in my bones.
I feel
Not-
like you're stretching
not-
on that one.
Not for Amazing Spider-Man 3.
No, for the Venom movie.
For the Venom movie, yeah.
Because that's all but set now that Carnage will be a villain for the Venom movie, which I am all for since Carnage is actually my favorite Spider-Man villain. A lot of people disagree with me on that.
361. Sorry, somebody says a name I like to know. I mean,
Yeah, his premiere issue.
yeah.
I understand.
First appearance. It happens.
yes.
My brain. Arkham Knight. Speaking of Arkham Knight, I know I'm jumping all over the place. We don't really have any structure right now.
None.
Brandon, give us structure.
For Arkham Knight, so the release date's now in June.
Yep, June 2015.
Part of the many year of the pushback nominees.
Yep.
Oh man, there's gonna be so many games next year.
Yeah, because half of them were supposed to be this year.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. But okay, so they announced the special super limited edition with a Transformer Batmobile.
Which is
Dang,
gorgeous
yeah.
from what I understand.
And gone.
It's gorgeous and sold out.
Yes.
They're gone.
Day
They're gone
of
within-
it sold out. I didn't even get a chance to pre-order it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either. But
It looks awesome. I think it's going to be a great game.
I'm extremely excited. The threats they've sown throughout the 3 Arkham games
just
look
the
like
return
they're
of
building to something
the
excellent.
return of Scarecrow and how in
Very
Arkham
excited.
City you could
City of
use
Fear.
the
Cryptograph.
cryptograph, and you could hear somebody jumbly talking, and it was
Well, you
Scarecrow.
go down into the boat.
Yeah, and you can
and
also
yeah,
go back.
yeah.
Yep. Forgot all about that.
City of Fear is what the password is to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be following up on the Azrael lead up, which they set
I
with
would hope so.
the side quest in Arkham City.
Yeah, I would hope so because they just kind of left that.
Yeah, well, they went backwards before they could go forwards, so
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they, that they touch on that.
yeah. I actually
Yeah.
hope they take some lessons from Arkham Origins. I enjoyed it immensely.
I did too. I kind of don't want the electric gauntlets to be back.
I agree. That was one of the worst. That was the worst part of the combat in the game for me. I enjoyed
made it too
acquiring them
easy.
though.
It just made it too easy for me.
It did. I didn't even use them, except when I had to, of course.
Use what?
The electric gauntlets. In
Oh
Arkham
yeah,
Origins.
you guys were talking about the electric.
Didn't even bother with it.
No.
They made the combat such a delightful puzzle, more so than they had in the previous 2 games. Actually, in Arkham Origin, with the Kung Fu Masters being introduced, the ninjas, actually, and they introduced so many good aspects to the combat that it became a flowing puzzle.
It really
Yeah.
did.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nate.
No, I was just agreeing with Wes. So, Brandon, do you watch Arrow?
It's kind of funny. You kind of cut out, and it kind of sounded like a robot cat.
Oh, I said Brando. Do you watch
Yeah.
Arrow?
Yeah, and on mine it came off like
Arrow?
Arrow.
But no, I don't currently watch Arrow. I know it's coming back. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, but I know that our good friend Wes does. So
I know
Wes, I want
plenty.
you to sell me on watching Arrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sell us.
So, I'm a big fan of the character from the comics, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen. Rich playboy, had some problems in his life, grows up to be a vigilante of
Time
the
out.
night.
Bruce Wayne.
Close.
Okay.
Same universe,
Okay.
more attitude,
Okay.
not as strict. He's a very interesting character. But they did kind of take, with Arrow, they put it in a almost a Dark Knight kind of way of spinning the character, because they made it grittier, vigilantism. And they've done a lot with it so far, but that tonally is what it feels closest to. As they basically have gone through it, the show has a setup. Almost half of it takes place in the past. Well, okay, half's a strong word. Let's say a third.
While he's on the
Basically,
island.
on the island.
Yep.
It builds up characters like Deathstroke. And it fills in a past that Green Arrow, basically in the comics, the island is almost a foregone mention at most.
Okay.
It's just that the whole show is set up a large TV universe for the DC to inhabit. It's built up to the Flash. It's built up to so many different little comic book characters. Solomon Grundy is actually set up for the show soon. Not confirmed, just set up.
Oh,
They have done so much with the gritty stylings of the show and some of the best writing I've seen on a TV show in a very good while. I compare it to Game of Thrones and the Dark Knight series because it belongs in that league to me, though it may not be as enrapturing as Game of Thrones because of how tightly woven all of that is. And it may not be as grandiose as the Dark Knight series. This is a CW TV show that can even be compared to those.
yeah, that's pretty impressive considering the constraints
And I'm not
has.
the only one that compares the writing to things like that. It's extremely high caliber, though it's a little slow. No, slow's the wrong word. A little loose at first.
It's a slow build.
The first season has some ups and downs to it, but once they find the stuff in the past is always brilliant. The stuff in the current, like sometimes they have the villain of the week and it feels a little not quite good enough, but they're still building an excellent main cast. However, when they hit their stride with literally episode 1 of season 2, they start blowing it out of the park every single episode, pretty much, with the past stuff coming to an escalation that is just brilliantly done, exciting as hell, explosive is a good word. And then the current stuff comes in with major league villains showing up, and they built themselves a team, and the cameos keep coming. And now Ra's al Ghul is a villain in season 3.
I've heard that.
Batman's villain, Ra's al Ghul, one of the biggest name-drop villains in DCU.
Yeah. So, Liam Neeson?
He said he would happily have played it.
I know.
Really did.
He did say that.
Liam Neeson said he would be happy and honored to be on Arrow. That's another thing. This is Liam Neeson, and he was like, I love the show. I would gladly be Ra's al Ghul on the show.
So, my question is, does Arrow and Flash, do they make it into the Justice League movie? I see Flash making it, but I don't know if I see Arrow.
They have actually confirmed the TV universe is not the same as the movie universe. As sad as I am to say that, I was really hoping. Stephen Amell has done a great job with Oliver Queen. He has nailed the dark grittiness of the character before he gains a foothold on life, I should say.
That's why I liked the show. Like I said, if it wouldn't have been for me just losing a little bit of touch in Hulu,
Yeah.
not keeping up with it, I would have definitely been 100% sold. I think the last episode of Arrow I watched was the Firefly episode.
That was a fun one. It was
Episode
interesting
7 of
to
season
have.
1, I think, or
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those villain interest. Like the first season tends to do the villain stuff a little roughly. Not
Okay.
bad. It's just
Yeah.
some of them aren't quite up to par.
Okay.
The one they did do right though is one of the stupidest villains in the whole of the DCU, Count Vertigo. Even though I like what he stands for, he has a very silly power.
They brought Count Vertigo to the show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a mainstay Green Arrow villain.
But I didn't expect of all.
Yeah, but they have a fun twist on it. They make
Okay.
him a drug innovator is a good way to put it.
Okay.
And he's kind of got a cartel-eyed thing that he goes with. It's well done. Again, the show just does with... I'm stumbling over my words now. Season 1 is rough. I guess I'll put it that way. It is rough, but there's still jewels to be found. Season 2 is like solid 10 out of 10 the whole season, though. And they bring together some serious talent, too. I know at least you guys are familiar with Spartacus.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this is one of the reasons why the past stuff is so good on Arrow. Manu Bennett, the guy who played Crixus, is actually Slade Wilson.
You are absolutely right. Yes, he is.
And in the flashback, he brings a lot of caliber to it. Even though he's an extremely underrated actor for me, I think he's phenomenal. I've only seen him in a few things, and he's done such a phenomenal job, and he's perfect for the role. So he brings so much, believe it or not, gravitas, I believe is the word,
Good word.
to the past segments, and then in season 2, the current segments. He really helps tie the show together, along with the writing just constantly improving.
Slade Wilson, original Deadpool.
Haha. Cough, cough.
What? No, but Brando, on what Wes said, how do you feel?
what I feel is that I really want to check out the show. I just haven't had time.
Is season 2 on Netflix yet?
It will be as of
will be,
mid-October.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, the new season starts up soon.
Yes,
and-
it starts on October 7th, I'm going to say. Either The Flash or Arrow starts on the 7th.
Yeah,
And then the next and then Arrow is the day
Arrow.
afterwards.
Okay, because see, I didn't. Well, see, what I do is I don't really have a lot of time sometimes to watch or get into shows.
Mhm.
So any shows that I really want to like maybe sit down someday and watch, I avoid anything about them like the plague
Yeah.
because I don't want to be spoiled. Like Game of Thrones is that way. I want to watch Game of Thrones. I just haven't had time.
Yeah. I tried to say as little as possible about all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
While
you know,
still building the idea of what it's done with the universe. It's really flexed its muscles to build DC Universe's presence on TV.
and I applaud that.
And it
because
actually, and this is actually something I found interesting. It is pretty much universally acclaimed as the best DC TV show, current
And-
comic book TV show, like all that. Like IGN took a poll, and it was like an overwhelming percentage, like 40% said Arrow, and the rest were sprinkled in 10s and 5s and such.
Huh.
I think it's kind of funny how I've always been a fan of the Green Arrow character. And
He's
yet-
good, and the only thing I can say so far about the show, they haven't brought Oliver Queen's flippancy onto display yet, but everything about his character that is lovable, other than that, is on display.
Well, you know, I'm really looking
I'm
forward
waiting for him to
checking it out.
become more comfortable with the vigilante role, so to speak, that he becomes capable of cracking jokes, like
Mhm.
all that.
I've heard that his performance is really good,
It is.
and I've heard a lot of great things about season 2.
Mhm.
And I knew with you coming on the show, and we sort of talked about Arrow a little bit
Yes.
while you were over, and how you kind of hyped it up, and I definitely wanted to include that on the show because that's something that I want to get into. I just how long are the seasons? Or I mean, yeah, how many episodes?
They
About,
are,
24?
I believe, yeah, it's a standard 24.
And I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time getting into shows that are that long anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's still only 40 minutes an episode without commercials,
Well,
but
that's the hard part of it, though. Okay. So for how to word this right, I justify Doctor Who being a 45-minute episode because how the writing keeps you so involved and the story is so overarching that you don't want to miss a second. And you can't
Yes.
watch things out of order. You got to watch stuff in order.
yes.
I feel some of these bigger, newer TV shows with their 1 hour and 24 episodes in a season, it's not lackadaisical, but it's like they don't have to gallivant. They could just get to the point and cut a lot of
True.
the BS out, and I think the show would run a lot smoother. However, they might be sprinkling things in those first 2 seasons that won't come back till season 5 or
Yeah.
6, and we can't see
They're
those develop.
kind of feeling it in for the long game with some shows.
No, absolutely. How many? You guys know Gotham was the first Fox television show in like 20 years that didn't have a pilot. It was straight ordered. Like
Yeah.
the series was directly ordered right away.
It is
That's
pretty
surprising,
impressive.
given Fox's history
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
with Firefly and
Yeah. Still butthurt on
Wasn't
that one.
Jericho on Fox?
CBS.
That was a CBS show, huh?
Yes, it was.
So weird. I lose my mind.
No, thanks for talking about Arrow, and I mean, you really hyped me up. I want to sit down and watch it tonight.
You really should. And again, and it's not just go into it knowing too. This is something some people were disappointed with in season 1. I had zero problems with it because, like I said earlier, they take on a tone similar to Dark Knight, where powers really not a thing.
Yeah.
Season 2, they start to go into that, and obviously they introduce the Flash, so that's where the power heavy stuff's going to be. But this is more of a gritty setting.
That's
N-
cool.
Like the whole first season is based very really.
How do you think The Flash is going to play out as a TV show?
I think it is going to be slightly lighter fare.
Okay.
As in, I think it's going to take on like a Smallville stance, but with better writing.
Okay.
Even though I enjoy Smallville,
Do
it
we
had a
s-
lot of ups and downs, but I think Flash is trying to take on that role.
Do we see Gorilla Grodd?
Oh, I do. 100%. In fact,
I mean,
was
that's a weird
in fact,
character to introduce.
there was actually a poster revealed for the season, and there was even some graffiti, and I believe what it said was "Grodd was here."
I'm currently looking that up right now, folks.
Yeah, there was a promotional poster for this season of Flash with a lot of things going on, including a Queen Industries skyscraper in the background. They had all sorts of little bitty Easter eggs in this poster. But I think Flash is going to be the slightly lighter fare, but still seriously written show. That's the poster. That is the poster. It is in the bottom right corner of it.
Okay, we've got.
I believe it's on the street.
Star Entertainment.
There's your Queen Industries.
Consolidated.
Consolidated.
Ameritech, Cord, Big Belly Burger,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, Grodd. Grodd was Grodd lines or Grodd something.
Grodd lives. Grodd lives. That's what it says.
Lives.
My mistake.
It does say Grodd lives.
Grodd lives.
So, yeah.
Very interesting, though. They've had a number of. That's actually Star Labs, which
Star
plays a
Labs.
major part with the Flash, of course.
Now, didn't they in Arrow? Didn't they start introducing a Suicide Squad?
Yes, they did actually. Well,
So-
one of the main villains of season 2 is Deathstroke, who is one of the most well-known Suicide Squad members.
Absolutely.
And they actually have in the first season they introduced Deadshot,
Deadshot. Yep.
and they have Bronze Tiger. They've set up a number of these little villains that actually do end up being major players in the Suicide Squad. And there is an episode in season 2 devoted to that.
So my question is, wait, they just did one singular episode on the Suicide Squad, and then
They've built the members, and they kind of have a whole system going for the show as it goes on,
so it didn't
where it's
dissolve.
acknowledged as a thing.
Okay. So my question is, they've got this now. This
Yes.
Suicide Squad is acknowledged as a real thing in the show. Does that mean that Suicide Squad is 100% separate from what's going to do the movie, or are they going to try to make that a crossover?
I would say probably separate. I know. I'm very disappointed as well.
Look at Marvel. It's like
Marvel
some
has
things,
a tied-in TV universe.
It's like some things DC nails on the head and some things Marvel nail on the head. And if they just kept everything in the continuity all the same,
yes,
things would be so much cooler.
it would be excellent.
But I'm kind of getting sick of the fact that we keep rebooting Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
Like, get your stuff together, figure out what you want to do,
combine.
have plans. I mean, I know what Joker said about having plans and introducing chaos, but I'm saying maybe DC needs to buckle down, because you know what's going to happen if Justice League flops. They're going to reboot everything
You mean
again.
Batman, Superman?
No.
Or
I
you
mean Justice League.
Yeah, they've set Justice League.
Batman and
so.
Superman, it's going to be successful because you know what everyone wants to know? What's it going to be like?
Yeah.
But if you don't build characters correctly in that movie, if you don't set things up perfect, and I mean, I'm talking within an inch of everything,
They're going to have
perfect.
to do pretty good.
People are going to go, why would I go see the Justice League? It's going to be the same crappy thing this was.
Yeah.
And then the hype's lost.
Yes.
It is
And
lost.
then they will lose it for their current continuity.
As to where now, they're already doing a second Avengers movie.
Yeah. No,
I'm
no,
more
no.
excited
They're
about
already doing
a
a
third-
third Avengers movie.
Obviously, but I'm talking more in the immediate
Oh,
future.
in the immediate future, the next Marvel
Age of Ultron,
Age of Ultron.
which I read the comic for Age of Ultron. There was it was 12 parts. It's a 12-part miniseries or yearly special that they do. And it was a lot different, and it had a lot of the Fox characters in it.
Yes.
But I like that they're taking the idea and turning it into a movie that could be really special.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Marvel comic books, it's so hard to work around the movie trademarks.
It really is, and
It's very disappointing because they're obviously working toward an Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
they have to.
But their major players, there's 4 or 5 major players in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that are Fox owned.
Okay, so here's some Age of Ultron things to run through. In Age of Ultron, it has been stated that technically Ant-Man doesn't create Ultron.
Interesting.
Okay, however, because and look at it like this, Ant-Man isn't going to be out before Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron's going to come
Yep.
first, then Ant-Man.
And Ant-Man.
Okay,
Supposedly, that means Ant-Man is going to show up in Ultron. They've said
Maybe as
that.
a little post-credit thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My thing is, if they're saying that Hank Pym didn't create it, then why are they saying in the synopsis for Age of Ultron, and I quote, Tony Stark trying to make the world a safer place, messing with ancient technology.
Not ancient. They
Old technology.
pre-established security program or something like that is what they say.
Exactly. So they're saying that. To me, it's like they went, man, we shouldn't have Hank Pym create Ultron because he's not going to be a part of the movie. But they are secretly making Hank Pym be the guy that set the stones
That's
to
what I
create
think
Ultron,
it's going to be. That's what
which
I
is
think.
pretty nifty.
They're really... I don't like the game Marvel's going at with Ant-Man. I'm almost excited that they're starting out with the second Ant-Man, but their reasoning, whether they've said it or not, I don't believe it's solid. They don't want to put Hank Pym as a hero. I don't blame them. He's largely regarded as one of the greediest, almost most anti-hero, almost villainous at times, hero in the whole of the Avengers.
No, you're right.
He's a really shitty person.
But I mean, he creates so much.
Yeah,
Hank
he
Pym
is so
creates Ultron.
centered.
He creates Vision. Vision then marries Scarlet Witch. I mean, and they're gonna have the Vision Scarlet Witch stuff starting to get set up in this movie, and I'm excited. Here's my question: do you believe Marvel has the gumption and the intestinal and testicular fortitude? And Brandon, I need your opinion on this as well, for sure. Are they gonna kill Iron Man? Is he the one that gets the chopping block? People keep saying it's going to be Hawkeye. I don't see it being a lesser Avenger. It's got to be one of the major ones if someone is dying.
I do not see it being a death thing. They banked on that in the previous movie.
Brando?
It could happen. I could see them doing it for both shock value and to get Downey out of the series. Because there's that pressure to come back and still be that character.
He is actually still on for Avengers 3.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean more so like, I don't know, because I don't see the impact of killing Hawkeye right now because
he has not been built up enough yet.
No,
But I'm telling you,
and it would be a sad thing because they're cluing in at a Black Widow movie. It would be a sad thing to not be able to include Hawkeye, considering they tie those characters pretty tightly in the cinematic universe.
yeah, absolutely.
They have tied them tightly, and they've worked together in the series, or like the comics.
Yeah.
yes,
It would be sad if you couldn't utilize that.
But you're not going to, okay, if you kill Captain America, you know what's going to happen because they already got Cap 3 planned.
Oh, yes.
So if you kill Captain America, you're going to have Falcon take Captain America,
don't
the
think it's
first
a death
black Captain America. You're not going to kill Hulk because you can't. You just,
Right?
you can't.
You just can't.
Okay, it's not going to be Thor again. You just can't.
I think it's going to be a loss thing, not so much a death thing.
What do you think? Tony Stark just says, "I'm done after this. I almost ruined
No.
everything. I'm throwing
Maybe.
in the towel."
Actually, maybe on that.
because
Though
Tony's,
the thing
or
is,
not Tony
they should
Stark.
stop banking on that for Iron Man.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. just came out and said he doesn't have any plans to be a part of Iron Man 4, and he doesn't know if they'll do Iron Man 4.
I know,
But-
but that's the thing. That series has gotten its spotlight in the Marvel Universe. They're trying to bring it more forefront. Maybe there'll be Iron Man in these other movies, but they might not do an Iron Man movie maybe for another 10 years.
Okay. Now, if that's the case, and they want to keep this, because the way I see Marvel now, they're keeping all their doors open for
Yeah.
when the properties come back to them,
Yes.
that they can keep plugging in all these people into
Yep.
their universe, and they've got plans. They've got plans up 2021 or 2018?
All the way up to 2019, I believe
It is
was.
2019. So if they've got all these plans,
And they're moving to 3 movies a year,
which is
starting
ridiculous.
with 2017, I believe.
So, if you're Marvel, do you plan for Robert Downey Jr. to essentially pass the mantle on, and that is why in Iron Man 3 you got rid of his arc reactor, so he can just pass the suit on to someone else and have a new quote-unquote Iron Man?
I don't actually see that. It's
Okay.
plausible, though. That is plausible, and something they might even do.
I mean, because Downey's not getting any
For
younger.
him to become, say, a consultant role for the Avengers would be a disappointment, especially since he brings the character to life so well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the best way to put this, but I feel it would be a poor business decision to take Tony Stark out of the suit. even if you don't utilize him in his own movies, it would be a poor decision to take him out of the suit right now.
If you're not going to have him in the suit, then why even have Tony Stark character be there in the first place?
Yes.
Okay, fair point. But I mean, and again though, you've got people that are talking, and I know you guys have maybe read it, maybe not. They're killing Captain America, and that Falcon is gonna take up that mantle.
I would not say killing. Actually,
or
so far.
pass.
He in the comics, he has lost his super soldierness. He is now an old man, but he is also clearly displayed in the new Avengers. They've shown the new Avengers lineup. It is old Captain, new Captain, Thor, and I do mean disgraced Thor. So it is the Thor we already know, wielding his axe. And then also Hulk, who has gained full intelligence, actually. He's apparently going to be more of an intelligent character from now on as the Hulk.
Which is funny because I don't know if you've read the new Hulk series, but the first issue of the new Hulk series, someone shoots Bruce Banner in the head and renders him mentally handicapped.
Wow,
And
I didn't know that.
He can't form
Very
words, and he
interesting.
can't do, and he's...
Maybe it's a bleed effect where
And-
Hulk gains intelligence over that.
And they've started to kind of show that he's regaining his consciousness of who he is and things.
And maybe that's going to help, or maybe that will be what rebuilds the Hulk as an intelligent being.
Yeah, no, I see a bright future.
It's just, I don't see Captain dying as of yet in the comics. It may be something they're building to, but he is very clearly displayed, a prominent member of the 5 Avengers they show for the next Avengers.
Yeah, and I don't know. As far as the movies are concerned, I mean, there are just so many different rampant rumors. They say Hawkeye might be in the new Captain America.
Oh, I think that's
Cap 3.
actually pretty sold because they've worked together, in fact, near the Winter Soldier storyline.
Yeah,
And they've got to set up more with Bucky.
absolutely.
So it would be a great move for them to have Hawkeye be the Black Widow for Captain 3.
Do either of you see, and do the Guardians team up with the Avengers for the third Avengers?
Yes, I
How
see
does
that.
it seems like overload.
I see it as being accurate for a number of reasons, actually. Because, again, like I said earlier, they're clearly building to the Infinity Gauntlet. There is no question. It's been seen. They have the gems that have been showing up.
Oh yeah, now it's official.
Yeah.
It's already been confirmed that several actors from Guardians are
it would-
locked in.
It would be terrible, actually, if Drax the Destroyer was not involved in the beating of Thanos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Terrible. Because
but-
he has so much of a stake in that. I know they spun it differently within the movie, but in the comics, Thanos killed Drax's family himself in front of Drax, and then basically left Drax to die.
Yeah, they've already confirmed that Batista is already going to be in the third Avengers.
It would
so-
be sad if he was not. And alongside with that, the others are also involved. Gamora is Thanos' basically daughter, for all intents and purposes, daughter, and
Yep.
she hates him.
Yep.
She should be in it too. Anytime they're going up against Thanos, those two at least should be involved. And where they go, why wouldn't the others follow?
Okay.
I feel like it would be a sound decision.
I hope the Guardians do get to play that, and they do make this super universe thing happen that we're all hoping for.
Yeah, that's what we have in the books. And if nothing else, that's what they should aim for with the movies.
Another little question that I had, and again, my brain stopped focusing. I love this. My brain just doesn't work so well. Oh, yeah, okay. There is a group of ragtag superheroes called... I'm not going to tell you what they're called. I'm going to tell you that they first debuted in Fantastic Four number 44. That's one to wrap your head around.
The Marauders?
No, I will say that they have an Attilian as one of their leaders, and they are the Inhumans. Do you see the
Yes.
Inhumans officially getting a movie?
Yes.
I mean, I know they've talked
It
and,
would
and
be-
it's been fringe.
I think it's an excellent idea because that would also, because very much so, the Inhumans are almost a bridge between the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe and the Earthbound.
like more like the Thor era.
Sort of,
Area,
yes, where they're
era.
tied between the two worlds, sort of. Guardians is full on the cosmic side.
Yep.
Love it for that. It has brought something awesome and unique to the Marvel Universe that can be expounded upon. Next, they need to do Supernatural. Doctor Strange. Holy hell, I can't wait.
Doctor Strange is already.
It's confirmed in all but a date.
But did you hear how it was confirmed? Stan Lee slipped.
Yeah.
Awesome. He slipped and said Black Panther too.
Yes, he did.
Which Black Panther could tie into the Inhumans again.
Yes, also. But what I was saying, though, is that reportedly, and this would be really interesting to me, Vin Diesel is going to be playing Black Bolt. That is the rumor, I should say. He doesn't have to speak. Not one word.
Actually, that's fact.
Black Bolt's power is to, intense destruction at the sound of his voice. He wouldn't have to say a word, just be an imposing figure.
Yeah.
And have a
Brando will know.
voice or something.
Brando will know what I'm referencing. So, Brando, Wes is essentially saying Vin Diesel will be Fido for the Inhumans. Wes doesn't know what Fido is.
Unless it's a delightful black comedy zombie movie.
No. What?
No.
Fido's who we called the lead character for GTA 3.
Oh, yes. Gotcha.
Because never talked, and I think it was just one line, a hooker
Yeah.
or a gal says, "Come on, Fido."
Yeah,
So
Gotcha.
They actually named him Claude. I
Yeah,
think,
that's his
in,
name.
like San Andreas, but yeah, for the longest time he didn't have a name.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember you and me and Jason always calling him Fido.
Yep.
So I figured I'd bring that up.
I'm naked, Laszlo.
Naked.
Naked.
Too funny. So we're gonna jump ship over here and turn to wrestling. Now,
we
this
haven't talked
past
about wrestling for a while.
we haven't talked about wrestling for a while. A lot of stuff has happened. Night of Champions happened.
Yeah.
Had some titles switch hands,
And then switch again.
and then switch again. Had a near cash in. Had a destructively awesome looking curb stomp. I am more sold on Seth Rollins as the days grow.
I mean, I enjoyed his work as Tyler Black in Ring of Honor.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think as a heel, he needs to work on his mic work a little bit, but I think he's ring work wise, he's got it.
Yeah. So, Night of Champions, and then they had this past week, they did the roster reveal for 2K that was filmed during SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So the roster, before we talk about the roster reveal, let's talk about who the panel was. You had Renee Young and Stone Cold doing the hosting, if you will. Stone Cold, I noticed right off the bat, he had trouble getting some of his words out. He tried to say certain things, and they didn't really make sense. Like, he said something to Sheamus about, like, I really don't know your upbringing and how you, and then you were a top star in the cards. He said something that was, like, nearly verbatim of what I just said, which does not make any sense. And Sheamus had to be like, oh, yeah, all of a sudden I'm wrestling John Cena for the title. And I'm like, oh, wow, you just botched that terribly.
Well, at least they didn't fire him like they did JR last year.
Oh, yeah, bogus. So they, Renee Young and Stone Cold are hosting. You've got Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Sheamus, John Cena, the immortal Hulk Hogan, and on stage for the first time being connected directly 100% with no rumors and not just because of the video game, Sting. And I feel like Sting is just already sick of it.
Well, Sting is excited. I feel the exact opposite. This is his swan song. I mean, they haven't brought him in yet on television, but the thought is that he's going to have his first and last match at WrestleMania. Against who, they're not, we don't know yet. But I'm excited because he's finally getting his goodbye, and he's the only guy who's large enough of a star to say he got everything that he's ever worked for without working for Vince. And now he can go and say, you know what, I did all that stuff prior. Now I can finally have my WrestleMania moment.
And if you're booking WrestleMania, and let's say it's Taker Sting, let's just say that's what they end up going with, considering Sting does not stop talking about how Taker's the one he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Do you put that as the actual main event? So
No,
Sting
I
can
do
say
not.
he main evented a WrestleMania?
No, I don't. And the reason for that is because I feel like we need to be making newer stars and not showcasing older stars in the main event like that. Um, the way I would do it is if it is in fact Taker and Sting, I would. That's a marquee match. That's a main
Absolutely.
event match, even if you're not in the last match. I mean, that is you put that match anywhere, and that is one of the dream matches that has not happened. Still has the small potential to happen.
That window seems to be closing as the days grow on, but
It does. It does. It does. But
fingers crossed.
I would not book the entire event around it because they seem to be dead set on making Roman Reigns the next big star.
Speaking of Roman Reigns, whoa, all of a sudden he has this crazy hernia and is out for several months now. I see his return. He'll be a surprise entrant at the Rumble, or he'll be a Triple H who, comes out on Raw, says, I'm entering the Rumble, and then it's a huge deal,
Yeah, it could be. Both him and Bryan are expected back at about the same time.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Of course, when DB comes back, what do you do with him? I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with him, but what do you actually do with Daniel Bryan? It's a rough road to determine.
I think what I would do is I would start it off by, now this is just me fantasy booking. I started off by him saying, I'm coming back right where I left off, and I want, my title back that I never lost. And then them going, oh, you want a shot at Brock Lesnar? Well, have him at the Rumble. So then you keep Bryan out of the Rumble. So that way there's no chance of him main eventing Mania if you don't want to do that again. And then have it to where that branches off into another match for Bryan at Mania, whether that's with Rollins, which would be a great match.
Oh, yeah, they'd steal the show. And actually, I said this for 2 years, and it didn't happen. DB versus CM Punk at Mania in an Iron Man match would have been my fantasy match. Seeing that as of right now, it is looking more and more and more that CM Punk has just been banished from the land.
Well, I can't blame them for doing that because he took his ball and went home.
Yeah, I mean, Stone Cold took his ball and went home.
Yeah, he did.
Rock took his ball to Hollywood. Batista took his ball to Hollywood.
And they both made a bunch of money.
Yeah, but Punk did the smart thing, and while he was wrestling and doing all the hard work and grinding and still being the top guy for 434 consecutive days as the WWE World Champion, he was saving his money doing the smart thing so he could just live comfortably after life with wrestling. However, this is entirely prophetic. He said in his freaking WWE documentary Best in the World, which was supposed to be part 1 of part 2, because they had said that the sales were so good on the first one they were going to do a second one on him. He said in that thing, the very intro to his what do you call it, his documentary, he says, he wants to be the guy that they look back in 20 years and say he changed the face of wrestling. And he says, and I quote, and I can't do that sitting on my couch at home in Chicago.
Yeah, I do remember that. But I also feel like he got burnt out. And that essentially he got to a point where he didn't want to show up to work anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, he had the best job. I mean, I understand how taxing it is, especially with how physical of a wrestler he is. I get how taxing he is. However, he had one of the coolest gigs on earth, man.
Oh yeah. I agree. I don't think the change that he was wanting was happening fast enough for him or happening at all. I definitely like the direction that Triple H has taken the NXT brand.
I was getting ready to bring up NXT as well.
Yeah, I feel like, that if you liked like any of the alternative programming, like from, the old TNA and the Ring of Honor, NXT's where it's at. It's still kind of WWE-ized a little bit, but they put on some great shows.
I actually, sorry to cut in since I haven't been talking for like 5-6 minutes, maybe more. I don't have a whole lot of wrestling fandom anymore. I used to love it, love Undertaker, all that. I have enjoyed it over the years numerous times, but I've really not had a driving reason to continue to watch wrestling for a while now.
I'll give you 3 letters.
You don't have to. NXT, I believe, were your letters?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say it for sure because I've actually seen 5 or 6 NXT matches now, and though they maintain the personas of their WWE counterpart, or I shouldn't say counterpart, they're all part of the same stuff anyway. Like Cesaro, I watched 3 Cesaro matches, and they blew anything I've seen of him on WWE away. Just completely blew him away.
Are you talking about his matches with Sami Zayn?
That's definitely those two, yeah.
Oh yes.
Speaking of Sami Zayn, here's if you know someone who has the network, or you can borrow the network from somebody or something.
My friend and roommate Aaron is a devout wrestling fan who has the network.
Do yourself a favor and watch NXT Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah,
it was better.
I believe I did watch it, to be honest. It's been a while though. I don't know for sure.
It came out. What was that? 2 weeks ago.
Okay, then
Yeah,
no,
I
I have
believe
not
so.
seen it, so never mind.
Arrival was probably the one you saw.
That's
No,
probably it,
NXT
yes.
Fatal 4-Way was 2 weeks ago, I do believe. Okay, and let me say, it was a better free show than any TNA pay-per-view in the last year and a half.
I believe it.
And some of the things they did on that card literally blew my mind. These new stars are from Adrian Neville, who is ridiculous. He has hops for days. To I even actually enjoy how Tyler Breeze works. And I don't
interesting.
and I don't really dig his persona per se, but his in-ring ability is really awesome. Obviously, Sami Zayn could be. Part of me thinks he could be the next CM Punk. He's got all the right tools and abilities, and he's a high flyer, and he can do a little bit of everything, and he's willing to put his body on the line. I would just be worried if you gave Sami Zayn a title and started to push him like they did CM Punk, that Sami Zayn wouldn't do the exact same thing Punk did, takes his ball and goes home.
Well, see, Zayn, he is such a good loser, and I mean that. In the
I
nicest
agree with
way.
that. No, absolutely.
To me, he reminds me a lot of like a Tommy Dreamer, a little bit. He's got, he's a great worker. He does so many great things, but and yet they build him to where he just can't seem to to win like the big one, and he's got so much heart. It's kind of like when you're watching like Mankind or Mick Foley, like back in the day, when you wanted him to win so bad, and then he just only a few times did he ever really get it done.
No, I totally agree with you, and you said that about how he's a great loser, and all signs point to that Fatal 4-Way. I mean, I hate to go back to it. I'm going to touch on a few things with NXT, but I want to real quick talk about the Fatal 4-Way. Sami Zayn, the way he lost was so creative.
Mm-hmm.
He has this massive comeback. Everything's perfect. He's hitting all of his finishing moves, doing everything right. He's got the 3 count. 1, 2, Neville pulls him out. And they're kind of allies. And I thought that was really interesting. And then Neville kicks him in the head and then goes and hits his crazy super corkscrew flip move of doom. Whatever the hell that thing is that he does. It's gnarly to watch. Like, you
It
watch
sounds
it.
impressive.
Let me... Brandon, what's that move called?
I don't remember what. The jab of I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna Wikipedia Adrian Neville and then see what his finisher's called.
I don't remember exactly what he calls it. It's kind of like a corkscrew 350 splash almost, isn't it?
Yeah, but he just gets Wes. I'm telling you, this guy has hops for days. You thought that Michael Jordan could jump. This guy can jump.
Okay.
Another guy that he just got signed, and that's Kenta.
Oh, absolutely. Who? What's his new ring name?
Hideo Itami.
Hideo Itami. Yeah. So, it's the Red Arrow.
Red Arrow. Yeah.
Okay. Here's something I wanted to talk about NXT that I found was most impressive. So I went and I knew I wanted to watch the Fatal 4-Way event because I knew what the main event was. Tyson Kidd, obviously being in there with Neville and those guys. And let me tell you, Tyson Kidd worked his ass off in that match.
He did.
And he just proved again how screwed up the universe of WWE can be, because he is one of the best workers, and yet he doesn't have, one title to his name. He has tag titles, and that's it?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. The big problem with the upper roster of the WWE is that they have a really bad time picking people and pushing them to the point where they need to be pushed. Like they pick people and then they push them a little bit and then they just kill them off and then they bring them back and they get them over and then they kill them back off. Some of the great examples of this was CM Punk back in the day.
Yep.
You know, and Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, it's killing me what they're doing to Ziggler.
And
absolutely killing me.
Ziggler is one of the best workers. He's one of the best guys on the mic, and they don't hardly ever let him talk.
He's the final surviving member of the Spirit Squad.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
But the fact that this dude has gotten over with this crowd so much with a name like Dolph Ziggler.
No, yeah.
I remember when he started, and I'm like, well, you just throw it away because that name's a death sentence. That's what I was thinking. Like, there's no way this kid's going to be able to get over. And I'll be damned if he hasn't. And I hope that this current run with them leads to them starting to push him. I doubt it.
Have you noticed something, Brando? And this is going to be something kind of called back. DB has this massive build, right? Wins the title. What happens? He gets hurt. Ziggler has his WrestleMania moment the night after WrestleMania by cashing in and winning his title. He looks like he's going to be carrying the company for a while. He gets hurt. Why are all these dudes that people want to have at the top getting hurt all the time, but John Cena's still in? Brock Lesnar's still in. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, Cena's had his share of injuries, and unfortunately, I think they're catching up to him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And getting dropped on his head 16 times by a German suplex, Brock Lesnar. Jesus Christ, I've never seen so many German suplexes back to back to back. It was insane. I felt bad for the guy for a second, and then I remembered it was John Cena, and I was like, "Oh, keep going, Lesnar. It's cool."
Yeah,
Well, interesting enough, that was supposed to be Bryan.
Really?
That was the original plan, was to have Bryan get destroyed like that.
That would have been dumb.
I prefer Cena.
You like Cena? Or
No,
you prefer
no,
him
I
to be
prefer that
destroyed?
he got destroyed.
Okay.
The idea
Not a
would
Cena
have been
fan.
was that would be to get Lesnar over even more as he destroyed their hero.
Okay, I see that.
You know?
So at NXT, this is a name. Okay, again, I don't weekly watch NXT because a lot of my issue is it's not live. But when they do the live events, I do like to watch because then you kind of see that even though there's production involved, it's in the moment and you get to kind of enjoy it more. So one name that really caught me off guard, but I instantly fell in love with the character. I thought it was brilliant. He was the kind of guy I like. And even though he was a complete, total douchebag character, he's awesome, and that's Enzo Amore. Because that guy, if he can get on the main roster, will be so over with fans just because of how catchy he is.
Yeah.
You know, just the Jersey Shore-esque thing going on he has really good mic skills for, also having great wrestling skills. He's kind of got the total package, but I don't know if that character is going to be what sells him down the road.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but it's kind of funny you mentioned like that Jersey Shore kind of character, and I read something like that was a tweet from Zack Ryder, and harkening back to what we said ago about how they start to get behind someone.
20 seconds to go.
Kill them off. And he tweeted, he goes, "Somebody just asked me today if I was retired."
Oh no!
It's because he hasn't been on TV.
Yeah, and they gave Zack Ryder the absolute shaft. They really did.
Oh, yeah,
So to harken back to where we kind of started, we super tangents on the second half of this episode, but it's kind of been a free flowing, loosey goosey thing, which I'm kind of into. Back to that roster reveal one real quick. I have to bring this up. They're doing the roster reveal. They're naming off names. CM Punk, because he's got this feud thing they're going to do with John Cena in the My Career mode or whatever it's called. CM Punk's name gets said. You hear the crowd start to cheer, but then it's deadly silent except for CM Punk's music. But then when they go to name Triple H, all of a sudden the crowd is loud again. But it was dead silent. Don't lie to me. Why did you do that?
Well, see, during the live stream, it was not dead silent. They actually edited that out, and the reason for that is because now they're starting to distance themselves from Punk even more. Punk sent them a 22-page letter, basically saying he wanted his merchandise royalties because they stopped sending him checks, as far as I know, due to breach of contract because he walked out. And then they took a weekend or a week after he sent them that letter, every single one piece of his merchandise disappeared from the store.
Bogus. I mean,
So-
I get why they want to do it, but can I just say it? He's not fucking Chris Benoit, okay?
No,
He's not, and they're taking it to that extreme, and it's kind of bogus.
They're not erasing him from history completely because he's still getting mentioned on the website. He's still, he's still going to be in the game. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah,
But
I know.
He's not going to be scanned in because CM Punk wouldn't let them scan him.
So how did they get Punk in the game? Did
It's
they
like-
just use last year's scan and upgrade it or something?
Either that or they just built a new model based on his look. So from what I understand, his look doesn't look nearly as good as some of the other ones because he didn't let them scan him because they would go to some of the shows that for the WWE shows, and they would go there and they would scan him backstage.
Ah,
And so he would not let them meet them anywhere and scan him.
and then how it's so strange to me that that's the fact because his wife now is in a feud for the Divas title. How is there no tension there? On either side, on WWE's side with AJ or on CM Punk's side with AJ. If he really hates that business now as much as it seems like he does with this whole walkout fiasco and everything, does she come home all the time and he just goes, "Why do you still work for that crappy place?"
I don't think so. I think I think she has to go do what she has to do. This is what she likes doing, and WWE is professional. Although history shows they do have a way of like kind of blacklisting people, but they have not done that with AJ because she is one of the most over divas right now at all. So I can see why they're not doing that. Going forward, who knows? I mean, have we seen the last of Punk in WWE? For now, yes. I don't think he's going to be back because he always said he didn't want to wrestle past 35.
Yeah.
And he always talked bad or complained about part-timers coming in. Batista coming back, even though Batista came back really for like an extended run. He wasn't like The Rock or anything because Rock came back for just a few matches. But
Batista was a part of some of the better matches too. I mean,
Yeah.
his return, the Shield Evolution feud was really good. Honestly,
yes.
honestly good. And it set up for a beautiful heel turn with Seth Rollins. Yeah, I don't know, man. I know that WWE has a lot of good things going for them. I know it seems that the more and more I read online, the less and less attention TNA is getting from everybody.
Well, they are kind of in a bad place. They're still saying that they're in negotiations, but the word is that they are not staying on Spike at all. They're losing that deal, and they have not announced whether or not they're getting another U.S. deal. I've heard rumors about them possibly going to another network, but if they do, you can pretty much expect it to be a different kind of company. Like, I do know that Samoa Joe has not been offered a new contract. Money's going to be tight. It's going to be a rebirth of that company.
Or the death.
It could be it could be the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, AJ didn't sign a new contract,
No, he did not.
and he's gone.
Bully Ray's gone.
Bully Ray's gone.
Sting is gone.
Sting is gone. I mean,
Yeah.
if Joe goes, here's my worry, man, though. If Samoa Joe goes, he needs to go to the WWE. He needs
Yeah.
to. They have mentioned him on their website.
Yes, they have. Unfortunately, he was available a couple years ago, and WWE was not interested.
Yeah, but I think you got guys like Brian now that are just going, dude, please get him back so I can have matches like we used to.
I hope so. I really do hope so. That would be awesome. I think he would do well. They would want him to change his style a little bit, I guarantee you.
Yeah, he'd have to go with NXT and build himself back up, which he won't be a fan of.
No, and that's one reason why AJ hasn't gone or tried to go, because he's doing his thing. He's the IWGP champion for New Japan, and he's wrestling with Ring of Honor. For Joe also, was it Daniels and Kazarian? They're not with TNA anymore.
Yeah, they got cut earlier this year.
Yeah, it was like maybe in the summer or early summer.
Is Anderson still there?
I believe so. I believe Anderson's still there. So is Hardy.
Yeah, both Hardys, right? Didn't Matt come in too?
Matt came in, I think, for a little program. See, like the sad thing though is that now, from what I have understanding, I haven't been watching, but they've been putting on some good shows. And TNA always seems to do this. Is like as soon as they get really bad, they start like pulling their head out of their ass and putting off good shows. But they're putting on good shows once they've kind of made everybody look away and not want to watch.
Kind of sealed their own fate type deal.
And I do feel bad because I had such love for this company when they first got on television.
It was new. It was creative. It was different. It wasn't WWE programming.
Exactly.
There was a grit to it. They had the cool ring. And then they brought in all these old stars, and it seems like WCW being rehashed again. And it's
I really feel that bringing in Hogan and Bischoff sent them on a path that they just could not recover from.
And I mean, Aces and Eights was essentially another NWO.
Yes, it was, but I actually kind of liked the storyline at first.
It was cool at first because you didn't know, but I mean.
After a while, I think it went on a little too long, and it got old. But it did. Bully Ray, good old Bubba Ray, did some of his best work, and he became a top single star.
If Devon ends up negotiating his way out of his contract, if Kurt Angle ends up signing.
Kurt Angle's deal is up too.
It's close to up. Well, no, it's the end of September. He said October he'd be readily available to work for the WWE.
Yeah.
So his contract is over. Wow, that's weird.
So that's another name.
Times happen so quick. But if Devon ends up leaving, do you see Bubba and Devon heading back now that the tag team division in WWE is a lot better than it has been?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe for a final run.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have one last run, and they're going to get inducted.
Yeah.
They don't have bad blood with WWE. Their contract ran out, and they went elsewhere and did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would love to see them go against the Wyatts.
Oh, that would be gnarly.
And then with the Usos too. I mean, as you said, the tag team division, the last few months, ever since was it before SummerSlam, has been off the charts. Every show they've been having better and better matches. Like I love the Usos and Wyatt's sort of set of matches they had. The tag match at Night of Champions, the opening match, that was great.
The Dusts.
Yeah.
Stardust is the weirdest effing character.
It is,
dude.
But I'm into it because I like it because it shows how far Cody can go and be so many different things.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. And just think, I mean, Cody and Goldust were being fired was that a little over a year ago now? They were being quote unquote fired and had to fight to get themselves back, and
now they're the weirdest thing on television.
And tag champions at that.
And they kind of made them into heels too, which kind of surprised me because they were starting to get over as baby faces, and then just kind of switched them.
Yeah, but they do that. They've done that with Goldust his entire career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing new. It's kind of new for, I guess it's not really new for Cody either, considering the Rhodes Scholars. And he was a super villain, just
with his mustache.
With his molestache, yes. It's scary looking, man.
It was, but it was cool. I dig the stash on Cody Rhodes. It was a different look, and the stash was more over than he was.
Man, we got to finish up with something cool because Wes has been over here just quiet for like 12 minutes solid.
Well, hey, like when you guys start talking some serious comic stuff, I kind of just let you guys have it too. So
yeah, it's true.
We kind of all play off each other nicely.
Well, real quick, I just wanted to catch some input on this because this is to do with NXT.
Okay.
Like I said, I've seen a few matches. Okay. Now, I actually watched a match that impressed me far more than it had any right to. At least I would have thought so then. It was a Divas match.
Mm-hmm.
To say one of those has impressed anybody is saying something, if you ask me. But Paige and I believe Ashley on NXT.
All right. Well, Paige is now on the main roster.
I know that.
She has been 2 or 3-time Diva champ.
Mm-hmm.
Her
Is
first,
paler than Sheamus.
She is paler than Sheamus. She's hotter than Sheamus.
I agree.
By a long shot. I don't know. I don't know Ashley, but dude, Paige is such a great in-ring worker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that match was really impressive. I was
The
surprised because
match-
a good Diva match, that's a joke just to say that.
Usually, that's when you go buy merchandise. Is the Divas match?
Yeah,
Intermission.
pretty much. Or that's my
they-
snack break during
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Also, a few months ago, I think it was at Takeover when you had after Paige left, they had to have a new NXT Women's Champion, and they had Natalia and Charlotte. That was a great match.
Yeah, it's just so weird because it just kind of proves to me that NXT is kind of where the entertaining wrestling is going on.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Well, absolutely.
The fact that I witnessed a good Diva match at all says something for whatever it's on.
Me and Brando said this at one point in time, and I think at this point I can say fairly officially, NXT is a developmental. And as a developmental, it is better than TNA, which is supposed to be a company that's supposed to be going head-to-head with the WWE. Not head-to-head Monday Night Wars or any of those things.
Yeah.
But they are the quote-unquote competition, and their developmental is better than TNA. That says something.
It was really impressive from what I've seen.
Speaking of Charlotte, Brando, I know you said Charlotte's name, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what legendary 2-time Hall of Fame wrestler looks ugly as a woman? Ric Flair. Because Charlotte is ugly as sin. I am sorry. She's got a great body, but she is one of the ugliest faces on earth.
At the last NXT event at the Fatal 4, she fought was a Bailey, and that was a great match.
Absolutely.
But it's like, we all know that that she's Ric Flair's daughter, and with that nose, how can you miss out? But
the nose walks in the room 5 minutes before she does.
but I tell you what, when it was, it cracked me up when she did the woo.
Yeah, she does it now. It's part of her entrance, and she's
Yeah,
got
that's fun.
Here's one thing I have to say I appreciate about the WWE. Any of these second and third generation stars now, i.e., your Curtis Axel or your Charlotte, they're getting a remix theme of their parents' theme, and I think that's really cool that they're paying homage to the fact that you can hear a version of Mr. Perfect's theme anytime you watch Curtis Axel wrestle is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I like that.
It's less cool when you hear Flair's music because he still shows up from time to time. Mr.
Yeah, he's still
Perfect,
kicking.
Mr. Perfect doesn't have that opportunity, which I didn't realize Perfect wrestled during the roster draft, like during the Raw and SmackDown draft.
Yes, he did.
I didn't realize
Yes.
he was still back in the company at that point.
Yeah. He came back as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble of 2002, and then he was around for a few months.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind. I watched the first draft on the network,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
I tell you, oh, dude, I love watching those old Raws and stuff.
Taker gets drafted by Flair, and they fight at WrestleMania. So cool. But can I just say it's been a really cool thing to have Wes on the show.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, it's been awesome.
I've been having fun.
Oh, I'm glad you're having fun. We're going to be able to do this again October the 18th. We're planning this get together. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do some neat things. We're going to record a show. Going to be a little different than this. We're going to have a round table. Going to probably be 4 or 5 people on the panel. And we're just going to shoot the breeze, talk about everything we want to talk about, and we're going to have interesting perspectives. We're going to have Quiet Rob on the show. Because I realized that when we had him on the first time, he is the most quiet talker when it comes to having a microphone in front of him that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And I understand that's his shyness. And Rob, I love you. You know that. But he's going to have to speak up this time.
So, are you going to be able to bring your stuff up?
What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring the secondary studio up, the Korg, and I'm going to bring enough mics for everybody, enough mic stands for everybody, so we'll all have our own individual mic.
Sweet.
I'll have a splitter box that'll be able to have enough headphones for everybody. So we'll have headphones. And then from there, we'll just do what we do.
Sweet. That sounds like a awesome deal.
Does
Yeah.
sound pretty cool.
We'll probably be set up in the kitchen because I've got my nice legit round table in there. We'll just sit around the kitchen table and shoot the breeze and discuss whatever's going on in that month time frame. It's going to be kind of a cool month because October,
it's a big month.
But October is always a fun month, man. Halloween's the
is.
coolest. I don't want to call it a holiday because holiday implies that you get time off from it. But
Yeah.
it is the coolest yearly event.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
good one.
that, and I know I'm probably saying this out of line, I want to have some kind of Halloween get-together bash party thing. I don't know if everybody will be a part of it. I'd like to have the Journey into Comics crew there, but
That would be cool.
I understand that Wes, you work, and Brando, you work, and I don't know when Halloween is. I know it's on the 31st.
It's on a Friday.
It's on a
It is
Friday?
a Friday this year.
Balls.
Most people are pretty impressed by that.
And it's going to be especially hard for Brando to even have that day off because that's his anniversary.
Also tricky.
So, you know what I'm saying? And I know November 1st, Brando, you're going to be out of town, right?
I will be in Chicago.
You'll be more Chicago than me.
And yeah, in fact, I think we're heading up on Friday.
Oh, cool.
Friday night, and we're going to spend the night. We're spending our little anniversary up there because it's our 5 years.
Oh, wow. It's been
Hey.
2008 is what?
2009.
It was 2009. It was definitely 2009. I have slept since then. Paranormal Activity had just come out and scared the pants off of me because I didn't know any better.
I do remember that because
Well, dude, I didn't really watch TV at the time. I thought the movie was a freaking documentary. I didn't know it was like just a film like Blair Witch style. If you would have said, "Hey, this is the guys that made Blair Witch," I would have been like, "Oh, cool." But you watch it and you think it's a freaking documentary.
It was entertaining.
It was.
I won't say I'm a big fan of the series as it stands, but
Well, they
seeing it in theaters, that
just-
first one was actually pretty great.
They just got to leave things alone. Certain movies deserve sequels. Superheroes deserve sequels if they're done right. Scary movies, just leave it at one especially if it's good.
I
mean,
will actually disagree to certain extents.
certain movies like the Friday the 13th series got better with time.
Yes, it did.
Certain points there were some that were pretty bad.
I think Nightmare deserved its sequels.
Nightmare deserved its sequels as well. Don't know if I go as far as saying Halloween deserved all those
It didn't
sequels.
deserve Halloween 3.
No.
I will say about Paranormal is that they ruined it once they put story to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Part of the best part of the first movie was that you just didn't know why, and it was never explained.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that about it.
Happening.
Yep.
Man, it's 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. We are probably wrapped up here. It was a very successful episode. We did 3 hours of radio.
I would say we did well.
That's pretty baller to say. I mean,
That's another term that hasn't been used yet on the podcast.
Oh, baller.
I like
Some baller minutia.
Oop. Hey, Brando, I think that's the name. I think that's the name, man. I think Wes just named the episode.
Time for some baller minutia.
You had to say that right as soon as I was taking a drink of water.
Awesome. Oh, man. So I think we're going to wrap up here, folks. This was episode 13 of Journey into the Comics. This was kind of a tangent episode where we kind of went all over the place, talked about a wide range of things. The next time you hear us, Brando, what are we going to have in store for them the next time they hear us?
Well, the next time we have a very special episode because we've talked about it on the podcast before about how I'm into ghost hunting and have that kind of stuff going on. So I set up a ghost hunt and invited Nate down to come with us. So the next episode that you hear of Journey into Comics, we are going to have a sit-down talk about what happened that night. All things ghost hunting. It's going to be a part 1 of a part 2 because we're going to have a part 2 episode later on in the month where hopefully we'll get to go over some audio evidence and play it for you guys.
Very cool.
I'm so excited. I wish there was video footage of that light, though.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Oh, I do too.
We'll talk about that in detail on the next episode, but damn it was so cool.
Yeah, that was
Especially
really neat.
the fact that I saw it in one particular manner and then you two saw it in a very different manner. Just that place is creepy. Gives me creepy vibes. I love it. I want to go back and do it more. So, in closing, as we always do, we'll talk and say who we are in a traditional manner. I am your host with the most, Part 1, Nate Phillips, with my co-hosts.
I am very, very, very delicious, and I am the other co-host, Brando.
And then our third co-hosty host with the mosty most.
Is not quite as delicious as Brando, but still yummy.
But still quite good.
Yeah, I am Wes, or Westicles, as I'm known on my podcasts.
Yeah, and make sure, seriously, folks, if you're listening to Journey into Comics, I do that all the damn time.
Journey into podcasts.
I do. I don't know why.
Let's make a podcast about podcasts.
Incepticast.
We have to go.
The crazy thing is, I have been on an Incepticast. Josh Figures It Out had me on. You can find that episode on joshfiguresit.podbean.com. You'll see it. I think it's called Incepticast, where he played my first podcast on his podcast and then interviewed me, which was pretty cool. I can't find it because it's right here. You ready? Okay. Brandon, you'll hear that later. Ladies and gentlemen, this was awesome. Check out Wes on his podcast, which is
The Fan's Perspective on the Broke Ass Podcast Network. Easy to find. YouTube, Google, take your pick. Broke Ass Podcast Network, and we got all kinds of stuff.
Dude, you guys know how articulate Wes is. You heard him speak. Just go listen to him talk about other cool stuff.
It's fun. We've done a couple of them so far. We got a couple more in the lineup. Did a particularly good one on the top 10 heroes you should not be rooting for in comics.
That's the last one I listened to.
That's the last one we've done. It's been a rough couple months.
Figures. No, yeah, I know how that was. I went 3 months or 4. Was it 3 months? 4 months? 4 months. I went 4 months without recording a podcast. I did one in January, and the next time I came back was April. So I know how life can be balls.
It can.
So, all right, Brando, got any final words?
Hey, I just want to thank Wes for coming on the show. It's been a blast.
Absolutely,
it has
Wes.
been.
Thank you.
No problem, and thank you guys for having me on. It's been a wonderful time.
Don't forget, folks, to check us out on Facebook. We are still doing that contest.
That Walking Dead giveaway.
Yeah, we haven't forgot about it.
Bitchin' Samurai variant on an awesome cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are getting rarer to find now. The SDCC 129 Walking Deads are harder and harder to find, so it is something truly rare. Tell your friends and family about us. Like us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram at Journey Into Comics. And make sure to check us out on YouTube at Journey Into Comics. And until next time, folks, hope you guys had a great one. And you'll be hearing us talk a lot about some cool ghost stories and a really cool experience that I was a part of. And next time you hear us live, which I know we're not live, but next week we've already recorded because we wanted to make sure things were fresh in our mind. But the next time you actually hear us live, Brando will be up, hopefully with Wes. I think, right? Is that how that's going to play out, Brando?
Hey, I hope so. Rob's definitely coming up.
Or is the
Be pretty cool.
13th the next episode, which would mean we will have one live episode before the Hangout episode. I don't remember. I'm bad with dates.
It's all right. You're getting tired. I understand.
Yeah, it happens. And then I
Trust
do
me.
this. I did it, and it didn't work. Let's try again. That was really loud.
That was so
Oh, my
loud.
God. My bad. I hit the con button.
Every
And it
podcast
was-
should have a con button.
Really loud. I didn't mean for it to be.
Speaking of con, not really, but I just want to add that we had this episode is the very first of a kind of a series in October. We're gonna have a new episode every Monday, as we mentioned. We're gonna have like this 2-part ghost hunting thing. We're gonna have the live episode up at Nate's. Hopefully Wes can make it. I know our old buddy Rob from the last episode or two episodes ago, he's gonna be on. And in fact, we also have another guest that's gonna be on too, right, Nate?
Yeah. Sarah has agreed she will, even if it's not for the full thing, she will be a part of it. She's a little shy. I get it, but she knows her shit, man. She can sit and walk circles around some people when it comes to some of this stuff. She's a super nerd.
Well, that's cool because she's a pretty cool person to talk to, and I hope to that like she kind of loosens up a little bit. I mean, we're just two creepy geeky guys talking into microphones, so we're not that bad.
Nothing crazy about that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, folks. So, with that being said, we are officially going to wrap up. We are at 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is about where we said we wanted to be. So, until next time, everybody have a good one. Be safe. Love each other. Love yourselves. Ciao.
Boom.